they shouldn't. Yeah, I'm still going to stand by it. I don't think they should be published. I just think that the people's personal deck lists. I find that I get more of an edge by people not knowing my deck lists.
Okay, but do you think that that helps grow the game by nobody knowing your deck list?
Because then it helps people try and imitate your deck list, whereas actually just giving them resources, kind of spoon feeding it, unless you're actually helping them understand the deck as a whole. Like, it's kind of hard to like find a boundary, like between just like trying to grow the game and like trying to stop people from like so much information being widely known.
I think they're doing the absolute wrong thing. Like, you either don't post anything at all, or you like give a player his spotlight after he does well. You don't just post his list and just
Yeah, they
give
go.
him absolutely no credit for it.
Yeah, they go
I think-
middle of the ground.
Player credit was more of a factor. Like there had to
Yeah.
be like some big deal about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, would you oppose
Like, everybody
to
wants to
them
be
like?
famous about that, right?
Yeah.
Would you be opposed to like them giving you like a whole spotlight, like a whole section on their website for one day if they could talk about your deck, sit down with you and interview you?
Yeah, see, that's fine.
But just like posting your list, it's like you kind of feel robbed. Like you worked on that
I don't know.
for everybody to see.
I mean, they don't do everything wrong though. They got me on TV.
TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was on TV. I had my like little 15 minutes of fame right there.
Can you really call that fame? I'm not sure you can.
I can call it fame when, hey, has Shuffit ever been on TV except for with this guy?
Let him grab on his 15 seconds of fame. It's alright. Yes, I said seconds. Okay, so I guess we're not really getting anywhere with this topic, so let's try to at least come to an agreement.
I had
Tom says that he doesn't-
another point, I guess.
Okay, go for
I
it.
actually have something on topic.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
gonna work?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
actually, that's
Alright.
perfect.
Change.
Okay. What I feel like is the having like this information published. In the end, it will help like the top level players, because like Cranwell's been saying, it gives you like a standard of what to expect. I think it's a lot more difficult to go into a tournament and not know what you're going up against. Like if somebody just plays a black belt out of nowhere, like you're gonna lose a lot of games that you shouldn't. But if somebody's just like blindly copying this list that they saw because they think it's good, then you'll know exactly what to expect. You won't have any surprises. And I think like consistent standard play, whenever that happens, is going to benefit the top level players. But any sort of randomness can really affect your performance.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can see the side of that. There's two sides to the argument. I can see it.
Yeah, Tom.
I mean, like, it kind of helps all levels of players. It helps the bottom end by giving them something to work with, and it helps the top end by just going, hey, this is what's going to happen. Deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Pokemon will ever go for it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean, you have posts on the gym. They have to make a post on the gym to collect all how people do. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, the Poke Gym is kind of like their official forums almost. I mean, it's like, it's on their website, but it's basically the Pokemon forums to go to.
I mean, but it's like
I think-
user-based. They should do it themselves, you know?
No, I don't know. I mean, like, if you, I think it's fine to have the Poke Gym do it, but because if they're doing it better than what you could do, just let them do it.
They're doing what better than what you can do?
If the Poke Gym is running a board better than what Pokemon could do, just let them do it, and they are. So it's like fine.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how everybody does, right? I mean, if any type of strategy site or any type of game period is just going to have actually dedicated players that really love the game that just, you know, create their boards and get other dedicated players that really love the game. When you're talking about, say, Pokemon or StarCraft or whatever, you go to their board and you're more talking about, like, you're talking to the designers of the game, you're trying to get into that type of field. You're not trying to talk to other people who are really passionate about it. That's what user-made forums are for. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to argue is that I see strategy sites and I see everything for other games, other competitive games, and I see them, growing. I see them expanding because they take away all the nonsense about, oh, let's be secretive. No, I have a little edge or whatever. At the end of the day, you have your edge. You gain your edges through in-game skill and innovation after you see what's out there. That's how people gain their edges. People in this game are trying to hang on to that edge that they've had for so long, and they're just, they're in the dark ages. They're not trying to advance with the game's growth, and that's really what slows the game from growing, because people think of it as a kid's game. People see that there's not much innovation and not much strategy being discussed, so they don't think that it's actually a very competitive game to begin with. I've had countless players or ex-players tell me that they just think that it stayed back in what the Wizards of the Coast days were, where it was just a 15 and up group was just seldomly played, and it was all about the kids being, the kids were dominating the game, and that's just not true. That's as far from the truth as we can get. But the internet's not showing that, and the moment that the internet starts showing that, the internet starts saying, hey, look, this game is really competitive. This game is really hard to play. You have to be very good at this game to succeed. The moment you do that, at that point you start, seeing better results, and you start seeing people actually getting excited to play the game again.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me all the time, like, Grim, you have experience with Magic, right?
Absolutely.
And also, like, VS and other stuff. What do you think is, like, the hardest game you've played overall?
Pokemon, by far. I play Magic, not competitively to the point where I'm a professional or anything, but I play it at a high enough level to understand strategy at the game. And in-game strategy for Magic's fine. There's a lot of, top deck and whatnot. And the fact that Pokemon gives you so many options at every point of the game makes it a much harder game to play. I kid you not, I'll say that a million times and I'll always believe it. Pokemon is a much harder game to play than any other game I've played. Well, there might have been versus or whatnot, but aside from that game, Pokemon is really hard to play, and I mean, it takes me a long time to really figure out the optimal plays of Pokemon. Well, in Magic it really doesn't.
You're telling me. Anybody who's played you on a Apprentice can tell you.
Well, no, I mean, it's because, I used to play chess, I used to play checkers, it doesn't matter, I played all these games, and all those games, you try to find the optimal play, that's just how you play. So now that I come back to Pokemon, I'm trying to play this game like I used to play the others, and man, I mean, if I have to run my, 100 options through, it's going to take me a while, and that's kind of what it is. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, Pokemon's a really hard game to play, and people don't understand that. People look at the game and they say, oh, dude, it's a kid's game. Dude, the game sucks, give me a break. Do you really play that competitively? Well, yeah, man, because this game's hard. This game's cool, I actually like playing this game because it challenges me mentally. It challenges me more than any other game I play.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Krim said. I used to be roommates with a couple of pro Magic players. I mean, they'd sit down for a Pokemon game and just be like, there's too many options, I'm not doing this. It's much straightforward. You get your top 7 and you do what you can do, Pokemon, you just run through your deck.
Yeah,
so.
Magic, you play off the top a lot.
Yeah.
Magic's like, well, if the top card's good, yeah, I'm in the game. So then, like, when you're in-game, in-game decisions are hard, but, yeah, it's really only one path to victory.
Yeah, I mean, Magic has combat math. Combat math is, when the board gets really sticky and, there's 6 creatures for each player, you have to think. That's fine, that's really hard to do. But at the end of the day, if I don't top deck, one of my 12, 14 outs, I'm probably going to be in really tough shape. So, yeah, there's a couple tough spots for Magic, but at the end of the day, I understand that I'm only going to have, like, one really hard turn. In Pokemon, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, how am I going to be able to keep up from a turn 2 Typhlosion, discarding my energy on my active. That's hard. Like, that's really hard to come back with. And I have a lot of options to do it, so, I have to figure it out. Sometimes it means sacrificing a couple of babies and hopefully
trying to figure out the most optimal.
Yeah. But, that's challenging, and that's something that no deck list in the world is going to be able to, tell you how to fix. You can't, you see a deck list, you're going to, you're going to have an optimal deck, and yeah, sure, maybe every once in a while, your turn 2 Typhlosion, your turn 2 Ember, or whatever is just going to dominate your opponent's, bad start. And, I mean, that sucks. That's, that's part of the bad part about having an opponent have an optimal deck list that can get the turn 2 start. But at the end of the day, guess what? If you guys both set up, that guy's not going to know anything about his deck. That guy's going to know how to get a turn 2 Ember in play, but, it's not going to help him out very much if he doesn't know it, he has to keep bringing out Reshiroms to keep one-shotting you. That no deckless is going to be able to tell you how to play a Magic. I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would agree with that.
So I think we're all made our points, and we're pretty
I got
like.
one more.
Oh, you? Yeah, go ahead.
God, Kyle.
Because
tell
we
me
probably
to shut
should
up now.
should go
Tell
to
him to
viewer
shut up right
questions.
now.
We
Yeah,
probably should
shut
go
up
to
now.
to kind of
we should go to
bring it
viewer
all
questions.
together, right?
All right.
Earlier you said some people complain that publishing deck lists puts a damper on like innovation, and I think it's the complete opposite. When you have a standard established metagame, it actually opens the door up for innovation like that. I mean, just taking a look at what I've done the past year or two, I mean, just a small little thing like I added, Driftblim into my deck. Like, if you see something stupid like that, just like one little card, like the potion Fran was talking about, the expert belt, whatever, just something unexpected and creative, it really throws people off, and just that innovation can win you games on its own. It doesn't even have to be anything big, but I think the truly creative people can like get ahead of the curve just while other people are sitting behind just copying other people. So I think in the end it will benefit the better players.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best players are going to win no matter what, so they're going to be constantly working anyways to try to win. Posting a deck list isn't going to stop them.
It's different this format though, because you guys at US Nationals have got like an unknown metagame this time. There are no lists.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why
no.
I think U.S. Nationals is a little scary because it's like, ooh, what do I build?
I'd hate to be you guys right now. Like I'm looking at the format, but like if I had to play a tournament in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
like, I don't think I'd be ready.
I think
don't
Worlds,
understand.
Worlds is definitely gonna be like infinitely easier to play because you're just gonna be like, okay, what was the top decks at U.S. Nationals? What was the top decks in the other black white on HCSS on Nationals? Okay, this is the pattern. That's what's gonna be played at Worlds, and then take into account a couple other decks.
Yeah, but do you think that the best decks at US Nationals will do well at Worlds as well?
Perhaps. I mean, it's like if they're good enough to like just steamroll any kind of like short-term innovation, yeah, definitely. But if it's like if someone can find an answer and still be pretty good versus everything else, doesn't have to like auto win it, but be decent, then yeah, I think top decks will go down and new top decks will be formed.
Okay. Okay, so that's that part of that show for us. Obviously, we don't come to an agreement, but we do understand that in order for the game to grow, we're going to have to do something different, because what we are doing currently just sucks. People don't get credit for their decks. Decks are just thrown around sporadically, and nobody's really happy in this situation. So whether it be taking away deck lists or adding more deck lists and actually getting credit for them, they're going to have to change. So anyways, now we're going to get into the viewer question part. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them via Twitter at Top Pokemon, or ask them to us at Facebook, or if you see any of us on, just ask them to them personally, and we'll make sure to ask them for you. But anyways, the very first question comes from The Rock, actually. And it is, a very famous player. Okay.
See the eyebrow?
On deck.
We'll start off with Tom Hall for this one. How do you compare the ability of foreign players compared to Americans? I mean, you play at Worlds, you understand how Americans are.
Yeah, what was the
How do you
question
compare the
again?
abilities?
What
How do you
was
compare
it?
the ability of foreign players between foreign players and Americans?
Oh, you mean like European players and Americans?
Well,
Like-
foreign, period. But I mean, absolutely, European specifically.
Foreign for him is a little different. but-
Yeah, just be like, how do you think? Okay, if it was the world versus America, how do you? And everyone else other than Americans was the world,
Well,
and they would be the foreigners.
Generally, the American players are the
Hockey
best
Americans.
players in the game at the moment. Generally, the
I'm sorry, I
American
didn't hear that.
the American players, I think, are the best players in the game at the moment. Mainly because there's the sheer numbers of them, but percentage-wise, that'll go down to like a lot more percentage-wise, like good players.
I can agree with that.
Do you think that's going to change anytime soon?
I don't know that, like, recently, like in Europe as a whole, I've seen it